right. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on our beautiful new earth, and welcome. I'm Sherry Mosley, and for all of those of you who are new, I am here in Sausalito, California, just outside of San Francisco. And all of the work I do primarily works in the Akashic Enlightenment field, working in the Akashic Records. And the Book of Truth is the ascension portion or the enlightenment portion of Akashic Enlightenment. So, opening these two books to open up this higher dimensional field in the shamanic practice of connecting to higher dimensional planes for consciousness shifting and healing. And in our series that we'll be doing, this will be 5 sessions, and we are going to be connecting with Metatron and the Guardian Angelics for the Keepers of Light. And we've been doing kind of a lot of work with Metatron and the Guardians as we are closing up this chapter of Pluto and Capricorn, which I know everybody is feeling and seeing in one way or another in our world. And Pluto goes into Aquarius on January 20th. So we are going to connect with the angelics here to assist us with understanding where we're going to be heading into, what we're going into, because 2024 is going to be a pretty big year. Think back to January of 2008. That's when Pluto came into Capricorn. Okay. And then this is supposed to be an even bigger shift. So for this, we're going to be connecting to all of the histories of Earth. And this is so that we can better understand the current light field trajectory of new Earth that is underway. And this is going to allow us to then be accelerated through our soul awakening path in understanding your role in this new era of light. So your past, other dimensional lifetimes, and then connecting to your core light, I am pure presence resonance field, just to come back to this energy field and to connect to source for these. It's like a rebirthing codes. And these alignments also kind of coincide with the Metatron and Guardian Angelics Angelic Re-encoding series that we're doing on Fridays. It's not required, but both are helping to assimilate you to the new energies and your higher dimensional self as we finish out this final transformation of Pluto and Capricorn. Pluto is the big transformer, so it may be hitting certain people more depending on your astrological chart, but all of these sessions are here to assist with this overall ascension that is taking place. So if you have not worked with Metatron or the Angelics before, it can be quite powerful, but very beautiful, maybe a little bit humbling to be in their presence and their energy field. And usually the sessions start off kind of mild and they build up. And usually by the second to last session is our biggest session. And so they do tend to build. And we'll just kind of see kind of what adventure they're going to take us on through this. We'll be connecting to the Temple of Light, which is someplace multidimensionally I connected to through going to the Self-Realization Center in Encinitas, California, end of 2001. And through that, I opened up that connection in the material world and then the spiritual planes. And so now we go to an angelic version of the Temple of Light. And this is more or less our vortex portal that we'll be doing this work through. All right. And as I was saying before, if you are new to working with the angelics, then, this energy may feel very different. Metatron has a very powerful kind of yang energy, very masculine. And if you see him clairvoyantly, he's very tall, very large, like buff, big. And his presence is a little bit serious and almost like getting down to business all the time. And he connects with, but also looks over the guardian angelics. And the guardian angelics, they are all uh, of a light body frequency equivalent to ascended Master Jesus. So this is going to allow you to come into, ascended energy fields, meaning that you're being exposed to energy fields that are helping you to come into your ascended self, since their light body frequency is so high and so powerful. And if it's your first time with that, it could be very emotional. Connecting to the angelics can be emotional, receiving all of that pure unconditional love. And it can also, bring in a level of change that maybe you're not used to, kind of like on a deeper level. And since we're working in the Akashic enlightenment field, there's always an overall enlightenment connection, right? And so all of it together, this in particular, we happen to be working towards, working directly with ascension and bringing in new energies and frequencies and new light for the new light field that we're going to be entering into. But the Akashic enlightenment field that we're going to be working in also adds another aspect of that. So this will be a good little weekly energy meditation or healing to help you through these powerful portals that we're starting to go through. And I'm actually doing an extended event on the 19th through the 22nd for the Winter Solstice Gateway. So all of these things are kind of mapping together to help us gracefully go into this new era of light, because there's going to be a lot of change continuing to happen to put us on new paths and new trajectories with the energy shifting. So we're going to dive in and we're going to see these other dimensional Earths. So when we're in that space, it's not a linear time. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. It's more of a universal time. So we may experience something like a flip book, flipping through different chapters of a book that are revealing, different experiences or lifetimes. And, we say lifetimes, but you may not have fully felt it as a lifetime. So just see how it comes in, right? And we are keeping to the earth plane, right? We're not going to other we're not going to other planets, but we could be in other dimensions of Earth, meaning everything could look really different, even though we're on Earth. So a good example of that, if you've ever watched the show Sliders, it was popular in the 90s. And they slide dimensionally to different versions of Earth. And, some of them are similar, and it's based in San Francisco. Some of them are similar to where they are now, but then other ones, they just grew up totally differently. Some of them are very awakened, some of them are more animalistic, some of them have extraterrestrials, right? And they have different laws and ways of being. So that's a good example if you want something to watch of kind of what we're going to be kind of flipping through as we go through these other timelines of Earth, right? So we'll go through the timelines of Earth and then your lifetimes, and this will give you an understanding of where we're going. So there'll be kind of like a connection to those frequencies of the past or other experiences that your soul has had with Earth and all dimensions of Earth, and then aligning you with your core I am presence light self to then prepare you for what is coming. And this is a little bit common also with Akashic record work, that you use the Akashic records to help you to learn lessons, but to help you to align with like a new energy that's coming in through templating off of things that you have already experienced. right? It's helping you to come to a quicker understanding of something so that you can ascend through it quickly, right? There isn't this, getting caught up and having to learn something from point A, right? We're gathering all the knowledge from all these other points so that you can quickly receive all of the information, the understanding, and transcend more quickly. So a little example of that is kind of like um, when I do a reading for somebody and we align you with your current soul path. You can bring in other lifetimes that you maybe had a similar soul path, or you can look at other timelines that you did such a soul path successfully, right? And so then that aligns you with the frequencies of being able to do it successfully, which is more or less the outline of what we're doing here. We're looking at all of these timelines and life experiences on multiple dimensions of Earth so that we can understand what we've been through, what works, what didn't work, right? And I'm actually getting an image of the movie Lucy, if you haven't seen that one. At the very end, she takes this drug and she goes through an accelerated awakening. But towards the end, she's just scanning through dimensions of Earth and life. And she's just learning. And through seeing all of it and experiencing it, I have goosebumps everywhere. She then is able to ascend. Her consciousness ascends very quickly, right? She goes all the way up to pure enlightenment. And then she just becomes, I am one, I am everywhere, right? And so that's more or less what we're doing. We're going to scan through all of these timelines and dimensions of Earth with Metatron and the Angelics and allow ourselves to then become enlightened through looking at that and then allowing ourselves to connect with the new light frequencies coming in. But the biggest part of this is that we're connecting to all the other timelines. So the other angelic events that I'm doing, we're not looking at Earth, we're not looking at the other trajectories of Earth, we're not looking at where it's going. So this one's very focused on that timeline or that map and checking it all out. Okay, so no matter when you're doing this, if you're doing this now or once Pluto has gone into Capricorn or into Aquarius, it may bring some enlightenment or awareness to what is happening or what has happened, right? So sometimes, maybe at the end of 2024, some of you may find this and go, oh my gosh, this is what was happening and I really understand it. So this is just going to be really helpful at many times, my senses, during this kind of this introduction of Pluto into Aquarius that is coming. And, we're starting now, but next week, Mercury is going to go into Capricorn. Okay. And so Pluto's been in Capricorn, and so it's going to do a review of everything. And so we're going to use that energy field to work with what we're doing here, right? So the planets will be doing a review, and then we're doing a review on a certain level, all of it to ascend us to the next plane here and our next paths and frequencies. So the other thing that we can do, or that you can do, is in my events, I invite you to open your own Akashic Enlightenment if you have the Akashic Enlightenment prayer. It's available in my Akashic Enlightenment book and my Origins of Humanity book. They're available on Amazon. You can download them, get them on Kindle or whatever, and you can have access to the prayer. I don't teach it in these events. I teach it as separate trainings or online webinars if you want to learn more about it. But for the sole purpose of today, if you have it, you can use it. Otherwise, you can get it and then use it next week if you want to. So again, it's not required. Okay, it's just an option for you to practice working in your own Akashic Enlightenment, just to expand the energy field that you're working in. I'll be opening a greater Akashic Enlightenment field for the work that we're doing today, though. And For this, you can be seated or laying down. Just make sure that your spine is straight. And you may fall asleep, what feels like falling asleep, but you're really going into a deeper brainwave state. And you may feel like you're not awake, which is fine. You're not missing anything. People worry that they're missing something when this happens. You're just going into a deeper brainwave state to be able to receive what is coming through. Okay, so it's okay if you kind of dip out and then you'll kind of wake up at the end. I'll talk a little bit through the transmission, just sharing whatever is being brought in or shown to me, if it feels pertinent to share it with you. It's also okay if you don't hear my voice. Sometimes when you go in deep, my voice fades to the background and then you don't hear anything. You're not missing anything. Don't worry about that either. You can always listen to the recording if you want to hear what I was saying. And the transmission will be about 30 minutes. And then afterwards, you can go ahead and take some notes and we'll do some sharing about it. And if you have any questions about it, we can do your questions at that time. All right, so you can go ahead and get situated, get comfortable, just get some more fluids here. Oh, hold on a second. I just knocked this water over. Mercury retrograde shadow has begun. The oopsies and the tech issues which I had at the beginning of this. But you can go ahead and start getting comfortable. And then after I wipe this up, I'll open up the space. There we go. Oh, it did make kind of a mess here. There we go. All right. Maybe that gives you a little time to settle into. Okay. All right. So I'll go ahead and settle in. And I'll start opening the space.